Hi everyone, happy Thanksgiving week. Today I want to share with you 4 herbs that are super easy to grow indoors in the winter time. I know a lot of you, especially this week, are getting a ton of snow, ton of cold. You're definitely going to want to scratch that gardening itch. You know you want to do it by planting some herbs indoors in the winter. Now, I know a lot of you are growing tiny Tim tomato. We're going to have an update on that a little bit later this week. You got your microgreens going, your salad station going on over here, but you can't forget the herbs. So just yesterday, I stepped over here from my kitchen, just a few steps away, harvested some dill to pop in some deviled eggs. It was so nice to have it with quick, easy access to my kitchen. So I'm actually going to grab some of these, take them outside to send you some California sunshine, and plant some up to show you how fun and easy it is. For my indoor herb garden, I like to plant herbs that I can either propagate or that can very easily grow from seed. That way you have great success, you can get your herbs growing and use them in your garden indoors in the wintertime. So the first herb that I love to grow indoors is basil. Now, a lot of you might have brought basil cuttings in from your garden to grow indoors. That's super easy to do. This one actually grew from a cutting from my summer garden. And let me show you how easy that is to do. All you have to do is just take a little cutting off your basil plant. Actually, I'm not going to cut one off this plant. I'll show you one that I have growing indoors on my windowsill. But you would just want to take a cutting. You want a nice, good, healthy stem on your basil cutting. And then you just put it in a jar of water. And this one actually has been growing indoors on my windowsill for probably about a month or so. And basil doesn't need a ton of light, so it's one of the easiest herbs you can grow inside. It develops roots on the bottom. I mean, look at these roots, you guys. These are absolutely crazy looking roots. Look here, my sticky trap. Stuck to my hair. Okay, we'll talk about the sticky traps in just a moment. But basil doesn't need a ton of light. You can grow this on your windowsill, pinch the leaves out, but it's also super easy to plant in a pot. So what you want to do for that is you want to have probably a 4 to 6 inch pot. So the 1 gallon Smart Pots are perfect for that. And all you want to do is just stick a little hole right in the middle with your finger. Just poke a little hole in the middle. And you could just poke the roots down in there. This one is definitely ready to plant. It has a nice healthy root system. Then you can tamp it down. You can place it under grow lights, or if you have a big enough windowsill, this will fit in your windowsill quite easily. So super easy to plant basil from cuttings or from seed. Now this basil cutting will take a week or 2 to get established in the soil for the roots to really take hold. And how you tell when it's established is you give it a little tug. When you got some resistance on it, that means the roots are really taking hold in the soil. But I always like to plant seeds too, so I have plenty of herbs to harvest, plenty of basil to harvest at different times. So you'll find basil seeds in my indoor garden seed collection, 9 varieties here that you can easily grow inside of herbs, veggies, and the tiny Tim tomato. And I'm going to plant actually some seeds kind of around the base of this little basil cutting. Basil seeds are really tiny. And I'm just going to drop them in. Now they're tiny black seeds, so it might be hard to see them dropping in the soil. But I'm going to drop them in a 1/2 inch or so apart. And that way I have little basil seedlings coming up as I'm harvesting and growing my cutting. So just sprinkle it all around in a little circle around the plant here. Cover it with a little bit of extra soil. And here I'm using my DIY seed starting mix. It's pre-moistened. It's nice and light, so it grows the seedlings really, really well. Tamping it down, and we're good to go with our indoor basil. Now we love popping basil on scrambled eggs, on sandwiches, really good on grilled cheese sandwiches. It's a really nice, fun, easy herb to grow in the winter. The second easy to grow herb indoors in the wintertime is dill. Now, I showed you dill at the beginning of the video. It's such a beautiful, light and feathery herb. And this one actually has been growing indoors for maybe a couple months. And you can see there's some brand new growth popping right up here in the middle. It's nice and bright green and it smells so amazing. Now you can actually grow dill from cuttings as well, but I don't have any cuttings to show you with roots, and I don't want to take any from this plant yet because I want it to get just a little bit bigger. But if you're taking a cutting, you want it to be maybe 4 inches or so with a nice healthy stem. The same method, you would pop it in a little jar of water. I like to add a little bit of Vermistera Vitality just to help it root quicker, and put it on your windowsill, and there you go. Once it grows roots, you can plant it. So today I'm going to plant some more dill from seed. I love how dill seed smells. It's just amazing. And I've got seeds in my indoor garden seed collection. Oh, it smells so good. And my herb seed collection. And by the way, are you guys loving this fire out here? Camera guy built that just for the video so we could all enjoy the warmth together. So dill seeds are super easy to plant. Just pour them out in your hand. And you can also use dill seed in cooking. Dill is great, obviously, for dill pickles from the garden. This is a bouquet dill, which is a smaller variety to grow indoors. And all you need to do is just sprinkle the seeds over the soil. It's so easy to plant from seed, and you save so much money when you plant from seed rather than buying transplants from the garden center. Just sprinkle it over the soil. Add a little bit of extra on top, just a little bit. Don't want to add too much because you don't want to inhibit the germination of the seeds. Kind of tamp it down, and then I'm going to spray it. Oops, missed a couple seeds there. There we go. I'm going to spray it. You want to keep the soil moist while it's germinating. And it should germinate within a week or so. Dill is a cool weather herb, so it does like temperatures under 75 degrees. Let me show you some that I planted just about maybe 8 or 10 days ago. It's just popping up here in this little 6-pack. So really nice little delicate seedlings popping through the soil. Next up is chives. Now chives are pretty cool. You can plant them either from chives that you already have in the garden or from seed. So it's a really great way to get started on the cheap. And by the way, do make sure you take advantage of our Black Friday sale, 25% off everything on our website with the code Black Friday. You do get a special gift from Camera Guy and I. You get a black 5-gallon Smart Pots and some black lettuce seeds that you can plant so you can get your indoor salad station going. So back to chives. I just went out in the garden this morning and dug up this beautiful clump of chives, and we're going to plant these up in a little 1-gallon CaliKim Smart Pots. Now when you're bringing chives indoors, you do want to wash them off really well because you don't want to bring any little creepy crawlies inside. So I'm just going to kind of rinse them off in this little container of water. But they grow very, very easily from cuttings, and it actually makes, or from clumps that is, and it actually makes a really nice little garden gift that you can give to someone who might want to get their own indoor garden started. So I've got most of the old soil pretty well washed off, so I don't bring in any bugs or any bug eggs. And I'm also going to take off some of the little dead leaves that are on the stems. Sometimes those can kind of harbor little bugs or, bug eggs or that kind of thing. And then you can see how this here is like a little clump. And chives are really pretty indestructible, so you can actually peel apart those little clumps, and each little chive plant should have some roots attached to it. Here I've got 4 or 5 different little chives. And then what I'm going to do is just make a little hole, or several little holes in my 1-gallon Smart Pots, and then just poke the roots down into the soil. Super, super easy and a really inexpensive, quick way to get some chives going inside. Now, in my opinion, chives are one of the most versatile of all herbs. I love to snip chives in just about everything. Scrambled eggs, onto sandwiches, into salads. And they're just super delicious, and they will grow for years, especially if you're propagating them this way. And it might take, again, a week or two for your new chive plants to kind of take root, but pretty soon they will, and you'll see some new growth coming out of the end of each plant. And in the wintertime, this is a really fun project to do with your kids on those cold winter days to really help beat the winter blues. The cool thing about chives though, if you don't have chives out in the garden, they're very easy to grow from seed. So these have been growing from seed maybe for about 6 weeks or so, but I am going to just pop a few more seeds around them. Again, so I have plants to harvest at different times. I always like to succession plant, which just means that you're planting at intervals so that you never run out of something to harvest. So these are onion chives. They have a nice mild kind of onion flavor. I'm just going to kind of space the seeds out in between the plants that I already have growing. Just for fun, I always love to see the little seedlings pop through the soil too. I'm going to cover them up lightly, give them a quick little spray, and we got some more chives planted. It's so easy. You guys are going to love growing your own herbs indoors. We've got our basil, we've got our dill, we've got our chives, and I think the easiest of all herbs to grow indoors is mint. Can you guys smell it? It smells so good and gives such a great fragrance to your kitchen or your indoor growing garden. Now, we love mint in mint tea. You just pack a little tea ball full of mint leaves, put it in a cute little teapot full of boiling water, and you could drink that mint tea and keep you cozy while it's warm. And keep you cozy outside while it's cold, that is. Now, mint is so easy to grow from cuttings. In fact, I've never grown mint from seed, although you know you definitely can. But I grow it from cuttings all the time. So easy to do. You just take a cutting from a mint plant that you might have, or maybe a neighbor might have, and I like to take the bottom leaves off of the cutting. Just like that. And put it in a glass of water. Now before I put it in water, I always like to put a few drops of the Vermistera Vitality. It has a natural growth hormone in it, so it really helps the plants to root a lot quicker. So I've got that in there. I'm just gonna kind of shake it around a little bit. Pop my mint cutting in. You can put 2 or 3 mint cuttings in if you want to. And mint will usually root in about 5 to 7 days. This is gonna go indoors on my windowsill. You wanna keep it out of direct sunlight. And then once it grows roots, like the basil plant I just showed you, the basil cutting I just showed you, you can then put it into soil in the exact same way you did the basil cutting. So we're gonna pop these back under the grow lights. Don't be intimidated about setting up indoor grow lights. They'll grow your garden beautifully on the inside, and go back and watch my video so you know exactly what to do. I'll link it in the video description. So we've got all of our herbs back inside. I'm telling you guys, it is so much fun to see this little indoor herb garden, knowing I can pick and harvest herbs right here in the house. Now, little note on the herbs, you can also grow parsley and cilantro indoors as well. I've got some growing right back here, but they do take quite a bit longer to germinate, maybe 2 weeks or so. But those are definitely good indoor growers, and I've got seeds for those in my herb garden seed collection. So I want to hear from you today, as soon as you watch this video, what herbs you're going to grow indoors in the wintertime. It's so much fun. I know you're going to love it. Head over to CaliKimGardenandHome.com, grab your seed collections, your garden kits, your books. It's all over there for you for 25% off with the code Black Friday. And special gift from us again is the 5-gallon CaliKim Smart Pots and a packet of black seeded Simpson lettuce seeds. Thanks so much for watching, and a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll see you on the next video.